So I've checked out a lot of handhelds over the past few years, and the one that's above the rest has been the Valve Steam Deck for me. It's an unbelievable device. Playing PC games, emulation, it's a dream come true. I really dig it. Comes with a hefty price tag though for some, but I feel it's reasonable considering what you get. But another handheld that released like a little while after that, which was only slightly lower in price than the Steam Deck, that I really wasn't sure about was the Logitech G Cloud. This thing came in at $50 less than the lowest priced Steam Deck, and with it being an Android-based device meant for cloud gaming, it just didn't make a lot of sense to me at the time. But I'm gonna be saying something here that may seem a little controversial, I don't know, but I actually like the G Cloud quite a bit. I've been meaning to do a follow-up, I just haven't gotten around to it. But this thing, man, it has an amazing screen, really good audio, but in the end, it's a handheld I just cannot recommend at its current price point. It's mostly a cloud streaming device, but it can handle quite a few things natively, like some Android games and a lot of retro consoles via emulation. I've used it for a few natively ran games mostly, and also to watch YouTube or other video streaming services when I don't feel like looking at my phone's screen, or during those times where I'm like, oh crap, my phone died, what do I do, type of thing. But yeah, you know, that's the way it goes. We had a power outage not too long ago, and the G Cloud, it saved me from boredom. It's got long battery life, so I watched a couple movies, some shows, played a few games of Magic the Gathering Arena that night. But I only own one due to wanting to check it out for a video to share with you guys, to do a review. That was it, you know, you got to spend money to make money type of thing. But I wound up using it quite often. It's a purchase I don't really regret after the fact. I just wish it was cheaper. Just too expensive for what it is. But yeah, I think with expectations in check, the Logitech G Cloud, you know, it serves some purposes, and some people may like the idea of it, but the price tag just kind of kills it for a lot of people. And now I do find this a little interesting here. A company by the name of ABXYLUTE, they see a market for these cloud-based handhelds, and they decided, screw it. We're going to make our own that comes in quite a bit cheaper than the Logitech G Cloud. So I've had this thing in my possession for a little while now. I've done a lot of testing in anticipation of its release and dropping a review. So what I'm showing here today, it's a prototype version. It's not quite complete yet with both software and some hardware tweaks they say that they're making for the final release. But right now, due to their embargo, I can only do like a quick first look type of video. But once that review video drops, you're gonna wanna check it out. I have a lot to say here. Some stuff may be even a bit controversial, who knows? But there's some things I like and dislike about it. That's how it is. And that goes for both the device and the company behind it. And how reviews may wind up being a bit, shall we say, swayed to be more positive than negative. But we'll get into that later. So moving on here. The ABXYLUTE Handheld, obviously, it takes a bit more inspiration than just the idea of the Logitech G Cloud. They pretty much cloned it. The same tile-based UI is present on both devices. And you know what? I'm not hating. I quite like this UI, and the 7-inch 1080p display they use seems just as nice as the one that's on the G Cloud. I kind of wish this was the screen used on the Steam Deck, but oh well. But in order for them to keep the price point a lot lower than the G Cloud's crazy, like on sale it's $300, normal price is $350. It's ridiculous, man. ABXYLUTE, they had to make some sacrifices. So they didn't copy the specs. The G Cloud has a Snapdragon 720G chipset, where the ABXYLUTE uses a MediaTek MT8365 chipset, and it comes in with a little bit less battery life. They have it, the ABXYLUTE website, they have it at around 8+ hours for their handheld, where the G Cloud, the specs list it at about 12+ hours. And I can attest to that, as that seems about right. I've used the G Cloud quite a bit, and also with the ABXYLUTE, all the testing I've done, the 8 or so hours seems about right as well. Still a lot of time for both, so, you know, not the biggest deal here, but yeah, the ABXYLUTE's gonna be slightly less powerful than the G Cloud, but its main use is meant for cloud gaming. And that's what this company is focused on. They've made sure to let me know that. Like, this is what it's for, cloud gaming. But this thing, it should still run some things natively fairly well, just depending on what they are. So Absolute, they're stating their handheld will launch on Kickstarter this month, March, with an introductory price of $199.99. But after that, the retail price is going to be $250. Now, do I think it's worth it? Would I rather have the Absolute over the G Cloud if I had to do it all over again? Well, you're going to have to stay tuned for that review coming later this month to find out. And in that video, I'm going to be testing a lot of different things with this device. The different cloud-based services, which should run fine, but part of that is really going to be based on your connection and, the Wi-Fi chip that's built into this thing. So we'll have to see how that all works out. But we'll be testing that, all the cloud services, and then also things like emulation, what does and doesn't work as far as emulation with this device, and also some natively ran apps. Right now with this prototype, I've been messing with it quite a bit, and I'm not reviewing it or anything at this time, but the only things that I really found where I didn't like, I noticed they already had that in their documentation as like, hey, we're changing this, we're fixing this, this is just because it's a prototype, that kind of thing. So I was like, oh wow, like they didn't even need me to tell them these things because they already have it listed that those are the things that are being changed for the final version. But we will, like I said, we'll go into more detail on all that when that video goes live later this month. I believe maybe the last week of March or so. But yeah, all these different cloud gaming handhelds that have been coming out. I know some people will never embrace cloud gaming, and I get it. I don't really prefer it either, but sometimes it does come in handy. My G Cloud, I mostly use it for native stuff and for video streaming and whatnot, but occasionally I'll be chilling and like, hey, I don't want to go to my computer right now. Let me, jump on Steam, or let me load up a game through, Xbox, that kind of thing. And you have all those options where you could either stream games off of your console, you could stream games through the cloud, just depending on what services you have available to you. And it does come in handy, just not my preferred way to play. And that's why I like to look at what else can these things do. Because sometimes you're surprised. And who knows, maybe you'll be surprised with this one. But definitely, like I said, come back when my review goes live. I really do appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Bye.